Good day, everyone. For today, we're going to talk about Chapter 2 of Gender and Society entitled Theories of Gender Development. I'm Irene Apostol and the reporter for this topic. So before we proceed with the introduction, here are our learning objectives. So at the end of this chapter, we should be able to learn how biological views explain gender development, understand the interpersonal aspects of gender development, discuss the foundational sociological lenses of gender development, and understand the role of nature and nurture in gender development. So before we proceed dun sa pinaka-lesson 1 ng chapter 2, let's define muna what is a theory. So theory is a hunch or a personal view that attempt to explain the goings-on of the world. It is a logical statement of ideas explaining observed facts or phenomena. Started as a hypothesis or a group of hypotheses about an observed phenomenon. So it is supported by data through experimentation. So in short, yung theory is an explanation of how and why some things happen in the world. So sa madaling sabi, theory is a well-studied explanation backed by evidence and not just a mere opinion. Next is gender development. So it is the process by which a person builds his or her sense of self within the context of the gender norms expected by his or her community. So this is the process of how a person expresses their femininity or masculinity as influenced by nature and nurture. So gender development, this is the process of how a person forms their identity based doon sa mga gender norms sa isang community or society. So, in short, this is how individuals learn and express their gender identity based on personal and social influences. Note lang, kapag nature, ito yung biological factors like our genetics or our age. And kapag nurture naman, it is more on kapag nurture, more on it's in the environment and culture. Next is gender norms. So, gender norms, this is the traits or behavior that are generally associated with either being a male or being a female. So, it dictates gender roles. So, gender norms, these are the traits and behaviors that society typically associates with being a male or female. So these norms defines what is considered masculine or feminine behavior. So it shapes gender roles and it influences how people or an individual are expected to act based on their gender. So in short, gender norms set societal expectations for how men and women should behave. So ayun, here we have a quote that was written by Simone de Beauvoir in 1949. She's a French philosopher, author, and a feminist. So this quote is a key statement from her groundbreaking work entitled The Second Sex. So it says that one is not born, but rather becomes woman. So this quote challenges the traditional view of gender as something fixed and predetermined by biology. So this highlights the idea that being a woman is not a biological destiny, but rather a social construction. It suggests that being a woman is not something inherent at birth, but rather a role and identity that is shaped by societal expectations, cultural norms, and personal experience. So, in essence, it challenges the idea that femininity is predetermined by biology and instead emphasizes the influence of social and cultural forces in shaping our understanding and experience of gender. So this quote reminds us that while biological sex is a reality, gender is a complex and fluid concept that is constantly evolving. And since we're done in introduction, tawag dito, let's now proceed with the lesson 1 of chapter 2, which is biological theories of gender. But before that, here's our lesson objective. At the end of this lesson, you should be able to know how chromosomes, hormones, and evolutions are theorized to influence gender development. So, what is biological theories? This is the earliest approaches in explaining the physical and behavioral development of a man and a woman. So, according to this theory, gender development begins at fertilization and is a result of biological processes. So, biological theories, it is the earliest explanation of how men and women develop physically and behaviorally. And we have two ways of biological process, which is chromosomes. It determine a person's biological sex, which is yung double X for females and XY for males. And we have here the hormones. It influences physical traits and behaviors related to gender. So in short, biological theories emphasize that gender is shaped by natural, genetic, and hormonal factors. Next is the role of chromosomes in gender development. So the human body has 46 chromosomes, typically arranged in 23 pairs. The 23-paired pair determines the biological sex as either female or male chromosomes. Next is atypical chromosomes. So these are the chromosomes deviate from the usual double X XY pairing. So atypical sex chromosomes, it occurs when a person's chromosomes do not follow the usual double X or female or XY male pattern. So this deviation can lead to conditions like Klinefelter syndrome. And now, let's proceed to two syndromes or conditions in chromosomes. First is the Swyer syndrome. So Swyer syndrome is also known as 46 XY complete gonadal dysgenesis. It is a rare genetic condition that affects an individual's sexual development. It is a condition where individuals have an XY chromosome pattern but develop female physical characteristics. So this happens because the SRY gene or the sex determining region Y gene, which is responsible for triggering the development of testes, is either missing or not activated on the Y chromosome. So without this gene, the embryo develops ovaries instead. So, ayun, the SRY gene on the Y chromosomes typically causes the development of testes, but if it's missing or inactive, the embryo develops ovaries. So the Swyer syndrome, it occurs when the Y chromosome does not carry the SRY gene or it fails to activate. So this condition affects about 1 in 80,000 people. And people with this condition have a typical female reproductive system, but their gonads or the testes are underdeveloped and they are usually raised as females and identified as such based on physical appearance, but their chromosomes are XY pattern. Here we have a key characteristics of Swyer syndrome. First is the chromosomal pattern. It is the the individuals have a XY chromosomes, but their bodies develop female physical traits due to a missing or non-functioning SRY gene. Next is the gonadal development. Instead of functional testes, individuals have underdeveloped gonads that do not produce sex hormones. And their physical appearance, they have a typical female reproductive system, including a uterus and vagina, but they do not develop secondary female characteristics like breast growth or kaya menstruation without hormone therapy. And next, puberty and fertility. So, they do not undergo puberty naturally, and they require estrogen therapy to develop female characteristics. So, they are typically infertile or baog sila because their gonads do not produce eggs. And for their gender identity and social recognition, so most individuals with this kind of conditions are raised as females and are recognized as such in their communities due to their female appearance. Next is the Klinefelter syndrome. So this condition is a congenital condition, meaning it is present at birth. It is where males are born with an extra X chromosomes or the double XY chromosome instead of the typical XY chromosome pattern. So this extra chromosome causes physical and developmental differences, including like taller stature, less muscle mass, or kaya smaller testes, and nare-reduce yung testosterone levels nila. So, individuals with this kind of condition may experience learning difficulties, and they are usually infertile then due to their low sperm production. So, ang key points lang sa Klinefelter syndrome, yung chromosome pattern nila, gaya nga sabi ko kanina, men with this condition, they have an double XY chromosome patterns instead yung usual na XY chromosome pattern. So, yung extra X chromosome, it affects their development. Like, yung physical traits nila, male with this condition often have tall stature, less muscle mass, and reduced strength, small testes, which result in lower testosterone production. And ayun, the same as Swyer syndrome, males with Klinefelter syndrome are generally infertile then due to their reduced sperm production in the testes. And that's all I have for my part. Hopefully, you've learned something on my topic. Thank you for listening.